Total dollar damage has been up from $20 billion to more than $20 billion. Today, a partial breakdown of that total came from the U.S. insurance industry. Andrews Rath is expected to produce 700,000 home, business, and auto damage claims for a cumulative
1992.
Childs today raised the estimate of hurricane-wrecked homes.
South Florida was in crisis.
Revised estimates of homeless South Floridians ranges from 180,000.
It was the wake of Hurricane Andrew.
So far, 36 deaths.
Homestead flattened. We had neighbors in need.
Amelia, tell me your story. Where did you live and what happened to your house?
Well, the house, everything was a hurricane. It went down, the whole thing, you know. The roof is down, all the furniture is gone, everything is gone. We don't have anything.
But we also had neighbors who could help.
People have offered their homes, their apartments. There was a woman that said that she would move out of her apartment and the people could move in and she would pay their rent and help them with their food for as long as it takes.
That's wonderful. That's neighbors helping neighbors, and it has been working here. As we said, we've already have
2020.
The coronavirus continues to spread rapidly in much of the southern U.S.
The COVID pandemic, impacting everyone and every facet of our lives.
Strong words indeed from Miami-Dade Mayor Carlos Jimenez. He says that not wearing a face mask can mean a death sentence for you and the people around you.
But as concerning as the number of neighbors in need is,
and during this pandemic, the South Florida community is really coming together to help distribute free meals to people who need them.
the number of neighbors who can help has been inspiring.
I'm seeing a very passionate community who wants to do something, and knowing that they can do it safely by donating to Neighbors for Neighbors. They can help out, and then they can also still protect their families, because this is an unprecedented situation we're in.
This is Neighbors for Neighbors, a celebration of South Florida's generosity at a time of great need. Hi, I'm Cynthia Demas. I want to tell you right off the bat that our goal in this show is to not brag about what Neighbors for Neighbors has accomplished, but to encourage you, or really to implore you, to get involved. Neighbors for Neighbors was created to carry out a very simple mission: connect those in need with those who can help. So, before we get into anything, if you or someone you know is in need, or if you or someone you know can help, please call us or visit us at neighborsforneighbors.org to learn more. Just by doing that, you can join the thousands of others who have helped change a life. This year obviously has been dominated by COVID-19, and like many organizations, we've looked for ways we can help our community. Neighbors for Neighbors, with the support of CBS4 and our other partners, are making a tremendous impact on families affected by COVID-19.
It's been a continued focus for us, and in no way more than our relationship with Neighbors for Neighbors. I mean, that is really the centerpiece of our outreach into the community. We're lucky enough to have a nonprofit kind of right in our building with us, right alongside us, to reach out in the community and do the unique things they do, connecting people, who need help and those who can give help. And we feel like it makes CBS Miami, one of the unique and valuable TV stations in the country, that we have this extension of everything we do through Neighbors for Neighbors. So it's I think that is really the fundamental way that we try and be in the community, is through Neighbors for Neighbors.
I'm meeting more and more people who are, I'm not working right now, so in order to maintain my mental sanity and help me navigate through this, I'm volunteering. I've got my mask, I've got my gloves, I'm washing my hands as often as I can, I'm keeping my social distance, and I'm volunteering. And how wonderful that is. And it doesn't take a lot of people to make a big difference, but even the time, but it's just showing people are really, given the opportunity to help, they will do it.
With mass layoffs and economic slowdowns, it became abundantly clear the pandemic would mean a financial crisis. To combat this, we created the COVID-19 Relief and Recovery Fund. Initially, this fund was created to provide food distribution for struggling families, but has since grown to help provide a whole host of household essentials to struggling families.
We're not providing direct services. We're working with organizations that do that. They do it well. And so we help supplement what they're doing. We help them do what they do best. And sometimes it's money they need. Sometimes it's promotion of their event or their need, say via social media or on our website, to get volunteers. And then sometimes it is good old-fashioned, labor with volunteers. And so the needs of the community vary, but that's what we're Neighbors for Neighbors is here for. We're able to be flexible and be there to meet whatever that need is, from that individual to the large group.
To date, the COVID-19 Relief and Recovery Fund has raised more than $50,000. Neighbors for Neighbors has also been responsible for connecting an additional $90,000 in goods from other nonprofit partners to people in need.
Some of our families are living off of their kids' Social Security checks or their Social Security checks, and their budget is quite tight, and they're also using food stamps. So with kids being home from school, a lot of our families are not able to fully afford enough food for our families. So I've been really looking out in the community to identify what kind of food resources there are for our families.
Well, imagine, this is the time that people really need to come together, and this is when really citizens and humans show their best side. When times seem to be their darkest and dire straits seem to be upon us, this is when communities can come together and luckily help each other out. And that's the beauty of things like this. These are rays of light in an otherwise dark night. And so, it gives people hope, and it gives people a lot of happiness and comfort to know that people are out there, that they care, and that volunteering opportunities are still available, and we can help each other out.
Coming up, you'll see just how much food distributions impact our neighbors. And remember, if you or someone you know is in need, please contact us. Also, and maybe more importantly, if you or someone you know has the desire and is in a position to help, of course, contact us also. The work we are doing in the community takes both time and money, and donations of either go very far. If you or someone you know is in need, or if you or someone you know can help, our phone number is 305-597-4404. Our website, neighborsforneighbors.org. From Key West to Parkland and hundreds of locations in between, Neighbors for Neighbors and our partners have been committed to making sure struggling families have food on the table. Since March 1st, FarmShare has distributed 26 million pounds of food throughout Florida. That's about 22,000 meals. Neighbors for Neighbors and FarmShare started at the same time, right after Hurricane Andrew, and we worked together for every crisis since.
And so you add to it now this COVID-19 pandemic, where not only did you have traditionally food insecure high numbers, but now you also had people who were being laid off en masse. You had businesses being closed, restaurants being closed, the service industry no longer had any way of employing their employees. And so they now all of a sudden went from having a good paying job and maybe having access to food to having no access to food. And then you had those who also, even though they may have had dollars, maybe they still were employed or they had a savings account that they could pull from, the grocery stores had no food for them to buy. And so now these people were also food insecure because there was a breakdown in the food supply. And then lastly, you add to the fact that you had senior citizens or people who were higher risk as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, that they had more complications or faced potential more complications, who were afraid to leave their house and actually go out and try to get to the grocery store to get their food. And so all of a sudden you had this all combining to yield essentially a 600% or more increase in the need for food, not only here in Miami-Dade County, but across the entire state of Florida.
Here's just one example of how Neighbors for Neighbors, FarmShare, and our partners' steps in the right direction teamed up with Miami Lakes United Methodist Church to make sure basic needs of our community are met.
CBS 4's Neighbors for Neighbors teamed up with FarmShare this morning for a food drive, and Mike Cuneo is live in our newsroom with details on this event and, of course, its powerful impact on our communities. Mike.
Yeah, Francis, today at Miami Lakes United Methodist Church, the message there was hope. It's something the pastor encourages those facing tough times to latch onto while we navigate through the coronavirus pandemic.
At Miami Lakes, trunks were filled with food as Neighbors for Neighbors and the Miami Lakes United Methodist Church rallied together with volunteers to help families that have lost their jobs due to the coronavirus.
Miami Lakes United Methodist Church, a place we like to call hope, and today we're offering a lot of it, I hope.
Pastor Stuart Bodine and others helped load up milk, eggs, fresh fruits, and other food items into this long line of cars. They were out there until the food ran out.
Feeding thousands of cars filled with families today. It's incredible, and that this need is still going on 2 months later, but it's growing.
Food wasn't the only thing being distributed at this drive-through. Gift cards were also being given out.
We're not only feeding their bellies, but we're going to try and help them financially as well with gift cards, and that's where our donations are going.
Pastor Bodine says right now we're stuck in a place between survival and revival, and is proud of the way so many volunteers have come together to help bridge the gap.
This is what America's supposed to look like. We're expecting people to work together in a crisis when times are tough, when there's pressure on the country. We've come together and done it. I think it's done it in a way that most people wouldn't expect.
Neighbors for Neighbors is always looking for more volunteers. If you'd like to get involved, you can visit their website, neighborsforneighbors.org, for more information. Mike Cuneo, CBS 4 News.
Neighbors for Neighbors has worked with the Miami-Dade County Public Schools on really too many projects to count. We were honored when we were able to help Superintendent Alberto Carvalho, who's been feeding families with what he calls grab-and-go meals.
Well, there's nothing like food to bring unity to our community, particularly during times of crisis. And today is the 92nd consecutive day of a family meal on the go for Miami-Dade.
This team brings fresh produce and pre-cooked delicious dinners directly into the neediest neighborhoods every single day.
Look, 73.4% of our children live at or below the poverty level. Their parents are poor. Many of them right now without jobs, and we felt we had to do something.
The team goes around knocking on doors to make sure everyone is invited to come and get a meal.
During the school year, we distributed in excess of 4 million meals out of our schools, our cafeterias. But we realized that there were some children, some families who were not coming to the school. So we felt it was best for us to meet them where they were. We looked at the entire map of Miami-Dade County, and we created grids based on zip code that reflected the poorest areas with the highest concentrations of poor children, where food insecurity is a sad reality. And that's what we're doing here today.
Neighbors for Neighbors proudly funded one of those days and joined the superintendent and his team as they set up in a South Dade neighborhood.
We contract with foundation dollars kindly, generously provided by private sector entities like Neighbors for Neighbors, like the Related Group, like the Miami Dolphins, the Miami Heat, and many others. We have raised in excess of $1.2 million, and those dollars are invested in local restaurants across Miami-Dade. Anything from Jackson's Soul Food to Versailles to Garcia's to I Crave, many, many more. We keep adding restaurants. Why? We are stimulating the local economy. We are employing the parents of our own children, and simultaneously we are bringing much needed hot food as well as produce and vegetables and fruits for the families and children that we care so much about.
In addition to hundreds of community food distribution events, Neighbors for Neighbors, through our partners at Steps in the Right Direction, has also been able to assist with home delivery of meals to the elderly and those who are homebound.
So there are a lot of uncertainties out there that we deal with, but we try to do the best we can. For example, when it comes to delivery of food, we are learning that people don't have food, but yet they're afraid of getting the food. So if we were to be delivering it, we have to not only work with the volunteers to make sure that we have enough volunteers to begin with to give the food, which is also a commodity that's very precious now, and it's not widely available like it used to. So there are a lot of barriers, a lot of hurdles, and a lot of uncertainties that one has to deal with even when we try to make a difference in someone's life.
Along with Fresh Produce, we were able to coordinate catered meals through Catering the Event, another partner of ours for the past 3 decades. A special thanks to Crystal Valley Foods for their donation of fresh produce used to aid in these distributions. You know, Steps in the Right Direction also work daily to provide food for pickup in Miami Lakes. Agencies of all kinds came out to get meals and snacks and provide them directly to even more families and the elderly.
This is an organization that's delivering the foods to Steps in the Right Direction, which is a Michael Salem's organization. And he reached out to us, let us know that this was available. We can sign up, and all of these different members of the community that have organizations in their area can sign up for any number of meals, 100 meals, 50 meals, however they need, and they get delivered daily. They can pick them up here daily and take them to their community.
At one point in time, we were giving out 2,200 meals a day, 6 days a week. So you can imagine, and that's not including the major distribution that we used to have, which is on the weekends, which has to do with perishable food, like your vegetables, your onions, your potatoes, and those kinds of things that people can take home and be able to make their own food. And we had miles and miles of cars standing in line to get the food, and we were one of the few sites that I remember traveling and saw different sites, thanks in part to neighbors, because we were able to have those partnerships where we had double lines so we can move people faster. And we were just astonished, and we have a lot of great videos and documentation of that, where we know that, we serve close to 4,000 to 5,000 people.
We'd also like to thank our friends at Everglades Holiday Park. While they were shut down, they realized they had thousands of dollars in snacks and drinks just sitting in their store going unused. So they donated those snacks to our COVID Relief and Recovery Fund, which we added to our distributions, giving the folks a little extra treat to eat on top of the other foods they already received. Again, if you are in need of help, specifically in need of a meal, our website is updated daily with a list of all of the distributions, large and small, separated by county and date. If you're in a position to help or to donate, please let us know that as well. Visit our website, neighborsforneighbors.org. Coming up, more fantastic partners, future events, and how you can be a part of this tremendous effort. Welcome back. Neighbors for Neighbors is proud to work with the Children's Services Council of Broward County. They connected us with the amazing folks at Harvest Drive. They packed hundreds of bags every couple of weeks, then other agencies would pick up the bags and deliver them to families in need.
In these times, we are part of an amazing collaboration. We are funded today by CSC. We're distributing to 9 different organizations who are going to help get these bags to families. We have homemade cookies baked by Baking for Change, the students at American Heritage High School. We have donated gifts for our mothers. We have school supplies funded by the United Way. It's really an amazing thing the way we're all coming together to make a difference for our families who need this so much.
It's a lot on Grandma on this time. Grandma's older. She's dealing with 4 teenagers at the moment. I've assisted her, the family with food pantries. Another agency the other day came to deliver the food, which was amazing. Her major concern is food because, like I said, there's 4 kids in the household right now and they eat a lot. They're teenagers.
It's a blessing. It helps so that they get a little bit more nutritional value food.
I mean, the food supplies is short in the store. Going to buy water, you can only buy 2 cases and that runs out in 3 days. So it's been really hard keeping up with feeding them while they're at home.
I drive tractor trailers, but I haven't been able to go to work because due to everything that's going on with me and my grandson, it's just been kind of difficult. Oh, I appreciate it. I really do. I appreciate it a lot because of my budget, me not being able to get the financial or food stamps or anything like that, it's been hard on me.
Benefiting agencies include Pentecostal, Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies, Mount Bethel Resource Center, Broward Schools, Community-Based Connections, Homes, Flight Center, CAC, Mental Health America, Fort Lauderdale Seventh-day Adventist, and so much more. In addition to food distribution, Neighbors for Neighbors works with the Children's Services Council of Broward County every year as they host their Back to School Extravaganza. This event helps students and their families get the supplies that they really need to start out the school year. And while the opening of the schools themselves is a little unclear still, there is always a need for the supplies.
While the children aren't going back to school right now, it appears, in Broward County, it looks like it's going to be e-learning. We're going to be putting off the date for the actual big distributions, but the Back to School Extravaganza is so important. This year, our goal is to provide 15,000 filled backpacks, uniforms, and shoes to school children throughout Broward County. So it's a huge goal. We've got it ready. We just have to wait for it to be safe for the distribution to happen. And viewers of Neighbors for Neighbors can help by providing funding to add more supplies to those backpacks and gift cards that can help those same people access food and other necessities.
And you can help. For just $35, you can get students a backpack filled with grade level supplies, even shoes, uniforms, and other helpful materials they need. These supplies will be distributed via a safe social distance distribution this year. Neighbors for Neighbors is also collecting donations in order to provide gift cards to help struggling families. Just over $10,000 in gift cards have been distributed, but as you can imagine, the need is much greater than that. If you're in a position to help, please give us a call or log on to our website. And finally tonight, we say a bittersweet happy retirement to our longtime executive director, Miss Lynn Cameron. Lynn retired on June 30th and was celebrated in a socially distant Zoom celebration. It was great, I was there. Miami-Dade Commissioner Daniela Levine Cava made a special proclamation at this special celebration.
So it is resolved that Carlos Jimenez, Mayor of Miami-Dade County, Chairwoman Audrey Edmondson, me, County Commissioner Daniela Levine Cava, and the members of the Board of County Commissioners, on behalf of the county and this community, do hereby proclaim Tuesday, June 30th, 2020 as Lynn Cameron Day. There it is, signed and sealed. It's official.
Lynn's leadership has guided us through many challenges and successes. As a way to continue her work, listen to this. We're introducing the Lynn Cameron Legacy Fund, developed as our way to honor Lynn's commitment as Executive Director of Neighbors for Neighbors and the impact that she has made on our community. She's developed and directed nearly $22 million in resources and donated goods to our neighbors in need over the past 28 years. Great career. The goal of this fund is to continue her work and build a legacy to support the mission of connecting those in need with those who can help long into the future. As you might imagine, Lynn has carefully trained her replacement. Longtime Neighbors for Neighbors Deputy Executive Director Katie Marr is a deputy no more. She'll be taking on the reign of Executive Director. Congratulations, Katie. The work we do with our partners in the community takes time, takes effort, and yes, it takes money. It is a labor of love, but we really do need everyone's help in the community.
And we are just blessed to have neighbors in our community because we know that the power of media, the resources, the links that they have, the kind of network that they have established over time. I'm just blessed to be a part of it. And there's a lot of things that we are doing and a lot of things we're going to be doing, hopefully.
The Children's Services Council of Broward has been partnering with Neighbors for Neighbors for many, many years on some big projects like our Back to School Extravaganza and our efforts to feed the hungry. And it's so important because they have the ability to reach you, to reach the kind neighbors who want to help others in their community.
The relationship between CBS Miami and Neighbors for Neighbors is as important as it's ever been, as we're reminded once again that really we need each other, and that's what a community is all about, that we're going to have to rely on each other to get through this. And that's really the core mission behind what Neighbors is all about. And so it's great that we can be a part of it, and at CBS Miami, and that we can help them in that mission in a variety of ways.
If you or someone you know is in need, or if you or someone you know can help, our phone number is 305-597-4404. Our website, neighborsforneighbors.org. For Neighbors, I'm Cynthia Demas. Thank you so much for joining us, and stay safe.